Okay, no. Councillor. Sorry. Stop it.
Councillors, I'm about to formally open the meeting. Before we begin, please make sure your microphones and devices are on silent. Also note that should we have to adjourn the meeting, please ensure your microphones are turned off at all times as the live streaming will continue running. I now request for the live streaming of the meeting to commence. Good evening, councillors, officers and community members in attendance tonight. I also welcome Mayor Alaris, who is joining us online, and any members of the public who are live streaming tonight's meeting. My name is Councillor Emily Demetriadis, and I'm the Deputy Mayor of Darebin City Council and the Chairperson of tonight's meeting. It is my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's planning meeting. I declare this meeting open at 6:32 p.m. This meeting is being live streamed and a recording will be made available on the council website as soon as possible after the meeting. I would like to start by acknowledging the Wurundjeri Wurrung people, the traditional owners of this land. I recognise their continuing connection to land, water and culture and pay my respects to elders past and present. I would like to welcome and acknowledge all councillors, our executive leadership team and officers who are joining us this evening. Councillor Ruth Jelly and Councillor Connie Boglis are apologies tonight. Councillor Alexandra Sangster has declared a prior conflict of interest in item 5.1 on tonight's agenda, so is also an apology. If any other councillor or relevant staff member has a conflict of interest in relation to a matter on the agenda tonight, they must declare the conflict of interest and the nature of the conflict of interest. Any conflicts of interest must also be declared immediately prior to the item being considered. Councillors and officers, are there any conflicts of interest to declare? If during the course of the meeting, any motion or amendment is put that gives rise to a conflict of interest, I request the councillor advise me at the time. Councillors, could I please have a mover for the adoption of the minutes of the planning meeting held on the 14th of July 2025? Thank you. That's moved by Councillor Arturi. Is there a seconder? Thank you. That's moved by Councillor Tsalkos. I'll put the motion to vote. All those in favour? I declare the motion carried unanimously. Councillors, Council has an occupational health and safety responsibility to ensure everyone attending tonight's meeting, in person or online, feels safe both physically and emotionally. It's great to see everyone here this evening. I would like to remind everyone in attendance to be respectful of each other and to maintain a civil tone when addressing the meeting. If anyone engages in conduct that is improper or disorderly, the chairperson may direct that person to cease their conduct and the person must comply with that direction. Councillors, I will be permitting questions of officers prior to the commencement of debate on each item. If I think sufficient questioning has occurred, I'll exercise my right under the governance rules to limit questions and ask the debate to commence. Before we continue, can I also please request that you ensure your microphones remain off unless you are speaking. Now we'll move onto the consideration of reports. Item 5.1, submission to amend C225 Dare Fairfield Rail Spur. I will now ask the officers to address the committee with a brief presentation about the item.
Thank you, and through you, Deputy Mayor. This report considers a submission to the State Government for the proposed rezoning of land referred to as the Fairfield Rail Spur. This historical rail site is surplus transport land that is proposed to be sold and redeveloped for medium-density housing and a fire station. The site is well located for a housing development with access to public transport, shops and services. This draft submission supports the rezoning of the site for housing, but outlines concerns about the lack of community engagement and the limited information of how the site will be developed and the community benefits provided. The draft submission seeks new planning controls to facilitate the orderly development of the site and provide for the community benefits, including the provision of a linear shared path through the site, high-quality design and landscaping that integrates with the surrounding areas, a minimum contribution of 10% for the provision of affordable housing, 10% of the site as an open space land contribution or 1,000 square metres that will be developed as a public park. The submission requests that the updated planning controls be shared with the community prior to finalisation of the amendment, and that the amendment be referred to a standing advisory committee to provide an independent review of submissions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of officers regarding this item? There being no further questions, and as there are no submitters for this item, do I have a motion? Councillor Julie O'Brien. Thank you. Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Assuming she's moving the officer's recommendation, Deputy Mayor.
Sorry. Yes, are you moving the officer's recommendation?
Yes, I would like to move the officer recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Toure is the seconder for the motion. Does the mover wish to speak?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I would just very briefly like to congratulate the officers for the submission that we have to go to state government. As been outlined, there's been a number of things considered, and all of these things are considered and held dearly to us in terms of the things that we want for our community, the things that we have built into our new council plan. And so I think just to call out a couple of them, specifically looking for a provision of 10% of the housing stock to be as affordable housing stock, including social housing. We know that we want to be looking at how we retain the existing trees on the land as it is, looking at that local park opportunity, and then the provision of the linear shared path, which would be in line with the strategic cycling corridor that the state government has in play. So I think just to highlight that these things are being asked for, they are important to us as a council. And on a personal note, I would just like to add that I would hope that the state government would include public housing as part of the social housing mix that we're asking for here. We know that housing is in short supply across Darebin as it is elsewhere, and that the mix of housing is really important so that we're catering for everybody in the community. So yeah, based on the submission, again, just around the existing trees, that aligns very clearly with some of the canopy cover issues that we're looking to solve. And although, you know, Alfrington, this area close by, has Darebin parklands near it, when we are developing housing, we are developing land, this does need to be an important consideration for everything that we're looking to do. So again, just thank you to the staff for the great work here, and hoping that we will all support this going through. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. Does the seconder wish to speak?
Very briefly, Deputy Mayor, thank you. I too would like to thank officers for their work on this submission and for their explanation at the beginning of this item. The land, as Councillor O'Brien and the officers pointed out, is suitable and a strategic site for housing development. As a council, I hope we are supportive of such development, but there are aspects of this proposed development that we want to see improved. And Councillor O'Brien and the officers at the beginning of the item outlined some of those aspects, including social and affordable housing and retention of key trees and the like. So I'll be supporting this item, and I hope the rest of the chamber will as well.
Thank you, Councillor Toure. Are there any other speakers against the motion? No. So, councillors, if there are no further debate, I will put this item to the vote. All those in favour? I declare the motion carried unanimously. As there is no other briefing or confidential items to present this evening, I would like to declare the planning meeting closed at 6:41 p.m. Thank you and good night, councillors, officers and members of the public. I will now ask for the live streaming and recording to end. Thank you so much.